As I know, it was the first time that cameras were allowed in his home in McLean, Virginia. It was a great experience for me, and I hope for the viewers. There was a side as the senator that I don't think you see every day. As you can all see, he was charismatic, charming, as he's well known to be. And as far as I was concerned, it was a very, very interesting conversation. There I had an opportunity to spend over an hour with a man that is certainly one of the world's most successful politicians. And yet, I saw something else, and I hope the viewers too. I saw a little boy in him, this charming side that all the Kennedys have, the terrific Kennedy charm. It was a great lesson for me.
Delighted to have you for dinner at any time, and so you're awfully nice to come down in a warm summer's night in Washington to come back and visit a good friend. I always sort of think of you a little bit as an adversary, though, across the tennis court in a competitive role.
Well, you know, now that you bring that up, is this, I must tell you that one of the greatest feelings I had, we were playing the finals at Forest Hills, and you were playing...
I have the... do you want to see the trophy? It was around here somewhere.
I must tell you that you were playing with Ramirez, and I was playing with John Lloyd, the Englishman. And I remember that we were about 3-all in the set. And I looked around...
You know, anyone would have forgotten the score by this time.
No, not me. Because I looked at all those wonderful Kennedy kids there.
Oh, that threw you off.
It threw me off. I double faulted. You won the game, and the rest is history. You beat me fair and square, and I had won the year before. And I must tell you that this tournament is fantastic.
It's wonderful for you to play at that tournament. It was a charity tennis tournament for the Robert Kennedy Memorial. And that RFK Memorial is enormously important to not only the members of the family, but particularly for the Robert Kennedy children. And it carries on many of the goals and the aims and the dreams of Robert Kennedy. It was a fun time, but we had some good times too. And you were always been such a friend to all of the sisters and brothers as well that you were so good to participate.
And your mother, that I had the pleasure to know quite well, and your father created such a fantastic genetic combination with all these successful Kennedys, all beautiful, and I must say, you know that I'm saying this with complete and total honesty, I am trying to figure out in my mind the marvelous contribution that such a mother and a father did, and to succeed in having such successful children, and you are now perpetuating that with your own. Now, what was it to be the son of Joe Kennedy and the son of such a wonderful woman?
Each of the parents had obvious different qualities. My mother, a source of love and faith, and a sense of expectation and hope. I think she was always positive in terms of her own feelings and her life. And my father was one who had a sense of really sort of expectation and interested in driving, I suppose, competitive but terrific fun. And they matched very, very well, loved each other very deeply. And I think all of us grew up in a family that was very close. And I think one of the nicest real legacies that have been passed on is that my sisters and Ethel and Jackie have really imparted that same kind of sense to this next generation. I think, for the most part, the best friends of all of the grandchildren of each other and themselves. And I think that that's been one of the things which has been one of the great gifts which we've been had.
I wanted to ask you about the marvelous reminiscence of the Camelot, of the White House days, because to me it will remain a tremendous thing for the rest of my life. I mean, I loved your brothers, and I was a real samurai to them. They were good enough to allow me to be part of this exalting moment in the history of America, where President Kennedy brought to the White House not only the beautiful people, but also the intellectual, the artists, all the people of significance in the world, so that Versailles was really nothing. I think it was the first time in history, really, that such a beautiful couple created such a message to the world. And I was, in a small part, involved in that program. And what does it do to you at this stage of your life with that tremendous heredity of memory?
Well, of course, what I remember most is that the fact that my brothers were my brothers, a close family, and in spite of, or even with all of the success, we had a close personal relationship that really never altered or changed. Something really does, I suppose, alter or change when a brother's elected president, certainly, but still he was very much the same person before he was elected as afterward. And he was very close to both Bob and myself and my sisters as well. So I think probably now, every day that goes by, obviously think about them, miss them, love them very deeply, inspired by them. And I think one of the essential parts of their appeal is that they challenge us to do better. They believe that individuals could do better. They believe the country could do better. And the central challenge of their time was to challenge individuals and to challenge the country. And that was expressed in different types of ways. But I think if you look back over the course of the history of this country, that we always do well when we are challenged. And when people say everything, you can just take it easy, we can make things easier for you, it brings a kind of internal kind of questioning about yourself, your life, family's life, and the rest. And I think that they understood that.
In the face of our loss, this is but natural. But as the first bitter pangs of our incredulous grief begins to pass, we must thank God that we were privileged, however briefly, to have had this great man for our president. For he has now taken his place among the great figures of world.
Well, I must say that secretly, and I've never asked you this question, but secretly in my heart, I always thought, how can a man bear such pain with such dignity? What is the secret? What is the wonderful power that you were able to harness to overcome such a tremendous loss? And how do you live with it now? Because, I mean, it must be still pain, constant pain, because I've had terrible things in my life, but I can't compare it with what has happened to you. How do you handle that memory of pain?
Well, I think there's no easy answers, and no one thinks that they do probably handle it as well as they should. Everyone is sort of human, and all of us feel the anguish and the sadness and the sense of loss. I do. Other members of the family do. I think we were very blessed with having a very strong number of people, basically the family, that were supporting each other, and a very, very deep sense of faith. And I think that was something that carried the family through very difficult times. And it's difficult, obviously, to quantify. But we been very fortunate to have been a large family, and with people that were very close, and parents that were very, very close, and sense of faith and understanding about, to some extent, about the things that we believed in. I suppose that's the basic and fundamental source of internal strength.
But now that you're the standard bearer, the great, the most important man of heart in our political scene. You were a junior senator, now you're king of the hill. 20 years almost have passed.
Another Kennedy has thrown his hat into the national political arena. Edward M., or Ted, officially announces his campaign for the Massachusetts Senate seat once held by his brother, the president. The youngest of the three brothers, He will face Edward J. McCormick, Jr., nephew of the Speaker of the House, in the Democratic primary.
These 25 years that have gone probably very fast for you, where you have achieved so much, could you give me a sense of what you felt from junior senator to who you are today?
Well, there's no sort of moment when the time changes. I mean, it's sort of an evolutionary process, and I think even today, after 25 years, you still continue to be sort of challenged. I mean, you win some victories, but you have, in the United States Senate, there's many defeats. And I think that if you don't have some defeats, you're probably not doing the job that you were elected to. We're involved in a lot of issues. It's basically about, you know, questions and issues involving the terms of the average American family, the schools, housing, food, shelter, the elderly people in our society, the young and old alike. So it's sort of the domestic kind of agenda, but that's a controversial question. But you have victories and
yeah, but you've had certainly more victories than defeats.
I think the question about the victories is that finally the people understand, the American people understand, or people in my state, which I care about deeply, Massachusetts, that you sort of stand for certain principles and values, and that there's a sense of constancy, and that part of somebody who's involved in public life is a source of satisfaction. I think that they kind of understand that you may win some, that you may lose some. They may agree with you sometimes, and they differ with you sometimes. But I think the American people are not just looking for people that are always going to be successful or always going to win. I think that they want a sense of consistency and constancy based upon real belief and real...
But, you know, you stand for something very special, and sometimes the person doesn't realize...
You better eat your dinner.
Yeah, it's so interesting what I forgot to...